I'm Larry Farver, and let's queer up faith. Catholic nuns sue New York over LGBTQ care rules in preemptive religious freedom case. The Dominican Sisters of Hawthorne, who run the 42-bed Rosary Hill home, are contesting provisions of a 2023 state law signed by Governor Kathy Hochul, known as the Long-Term Care Facility Residence Bill of Rights for LGBTQIA+ New Yorkers and people living with HIV. The legislation requires facilities to provide accommodations, including room assignments, bathroom access, and respectful communication based on the residents' gender identities. The lawsuit is filed by Colorado-based law firm First and 14th, which argues the rules infringe on the sisters' religious beliefs and free speech. The firm says it has filed the lawsuit preemptively, arguing the state could enforce the law against the hospice in the future. It objects to provisions requiring staff training and cultural competency, use of patients' preferred pronouns, and policies ensuring residents' rights to intimacy and association. They have cited letters allegedly sent as a warning to the hospice. However, a state agency website shows 0 complaints against Rosary Hill Home, and the letters may reflect standard explanations of anti-discrimination rules. The law firm is spearheading the suit in the Nuns' name, although the sisters wish to stay out of court. Well, having worked in healthcare for most of my day job HR career, I have to say that patient rights always seem paramount, no matter whether or not there's a religious affiliation or not. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really important to also look at cultural competency. I mean, as an HR professional, I've actually, gone through educational tracks where we would teach cultural competency, especially to our new employees coming on board, that they do need to keep that in mind, and especially in clinical positions or any position interfacing with the patients or their families. Yep. So it's very important.
Well, it seems to me, I mean, I don't know a lot about this, but it sounds like this law firm from Colorado is like, I see a problem that might possibly develop in the future, and I'm going to jump on this, and I'm going to, because you said in the name of the sisters,
right?
And they don't want to go to court. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, at any time, now I did not go to Catholic grammar school or high school or anything that, even though it would have been the time of the rulers, yes. But any nuns that I've ever come across have always been in the forefront, in the trenches, in caring for everybody and respecting everybody.
Yes, right. Yeah. Right.
So to me, the thought that they would have a problem with that seems a little stretch.
I mean, it does sound like an ambulance chaser for sure. I have a lot of questions because we've talked about this previously where we were talking about conversion therapy, and a lot of those medical practices are under the guise of and protection of a church. So I start to question this. If they are under the protection of the church and they're not a business, then those rules wouldn't necessarily pertain to them anyway.
Unless they're getting public funding.
Unless they're getting public funding, which they probably aren't. So while I think the lawsuit is frivolous, and it's sad that somebody decided that they were going to take this on, they're using the wrong person to do it, because the likelihood of that facility even having to deal with this, to be quite honest, is negligible. Mm-hmm. And if they are run and owned by the church, they're unfortunately governed by slightly different laws and regulations anyway. Right. So, to me, it's a null case.
Yeah, I think there's going to be more that'll come out from this. I have a feeling it doesn't have to do with what they're calling it as.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It has probably something to do more with the law that they disagree with versus saying the nuns are against this.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think it's been spun in a way that, it's
to get attention.
They found something that they could spin into a test case.
Right.
Yes.
That's my official, non-official input. Anyway. Well, there's no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.